How's it going, everybody? Nathan Mummert with The Truth About Hair Restoration. Today I have Jade Hernandez. How's it going, Jade?
Hi, good.
Awesome. Pleasure to talk with you, and I've been looking forward to this interview. Jade is with Studio Conceal in Chandler, Arizona. She's an SMP artist, and she also offers camouflaging for stretch marks with cosmetic tattooing, correct?
Yep.
Very cool. So we're going to learn a little bit about what she does today with SMP specifically and her experience. And let's start off with how long have you been, doing SMP, and how long have you been in hair restoration?
Yeah, so I started SMP. I got trained about a year and a half ago through Scalp Micro USA. Came back to Arizona and started right away. And then I'm also partnered up with the National Hair Loss Association in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm the resident SMP artist as well.
Very cool. How does that, just kind of curious, how does that relationship work out exactly?
Great. They what they do is they really focus on hair restoration as well as stabilizing hair loss. Whereas when I come into the picture, the hair loss has already been lost. So what I try and do is help camouflage that, conceal it, densify thinning areas. And so it's been a great working relationship. I've referred a lot of clients over to them as well, just because, sometimes if you can figure out the root cause of your hair loss, you can have options. And so S&P is always an option, but just in case I feel like someone is able to restore their hair loss, being able to refer them to National Hair Loss has been a great tool.
Very cool. And then what do you enjoy most about what you do with the hair restoration?
Um, Gosh, there's a lot of things, but I think really it's just connecting with clients. I just recently had a burn victim who came in. She had lost a lot of hair, actually, ever since she was a baby. She had a pot of hot coffee poured all over her head and scalp, which prevented her from growing hair. And so these unique stories are always so fulfilling because they've dealt with so much tragedy and hurdles with their own self-esteem, as well as, just not being able to have hair like everyone else. So when you're able to meet those clients, really connect with them, and then provide them with a service that really helps them feel better about themselves, it really makes what you do, truly fulfilling and exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. And let's talk about that a little bit, because you said that with with SMP, it seems like it's a primarily a male, market, and that's really what you think of when you think of SMP. But you have been able to help a lot of women, and you kind of seem like you're heading in that direction as well.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against men. I love working with men, but I definitely have a strong affection for women, being a woman myself. And when even when I first started SMP, I would be looking at other artists' portfolios and before and afters, and all the information out there when it comes to SMP or even hair transplants is geared towards men. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it definitely has, I feel like, predominantly made hair loss more of a male dominated theme, when women struggle with hair loss all the time as well. I mean, when I had a baby, I also had postpartum hair loss, but then I also know a lot of women who go through alopecia or even cancer. So I definitely think there's an untapped market, and it's really just about how can I educate more and more women that this option exists for them, so that they can have somewhere to go in regards to their hair loss.
Sure. And so you're able to, with thinning areas on the, top of the head, you're able to help fill in a lot of those areas to basically just give the appearance of more density. And, the scalp itself is already, pale in color. So then, just allowing it to, darkening that essentially allows you to conceal it a lot more. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. There are, my favorite clients are the ones that are already using powders and fibers to conceal their hair loss.
Yep.
And especially in Arizona, it's so hot here. And so those powders and fibers end up moving throughout the day, just from our natural sweat and from the sun. And so when they're already using that, and then I tell them about SMP, it's just a great alternative for them that's more permanent, that gives them a little bit more freedom so that they can, shower or go in the pool, cool off, and not really have to worry or even work out and not have to worry about those powders and fibers rubbing off of them. They now have a more permanent solution to their hair loss.
Sure. Yeah, it makes sense. And let's talk a little bit about the procedure specifically. How many sessions or procedures do you typically suggest?
So for women, it's a little bit different. I've noticed that on average, it usually takes 3 sessions to really densify that area. Now, when it comes to women, they usually will have hair. So when we're filling in an area, you kind of have to really densify it in order for it to kind of blend in with the natural texture of their hair,
Hmm.
versus a male client who has a very clean landscape. You can still densify those areas, but I would say for men, usually it's 2 sessions. Women, it can be up to 3 or 4 sessions.
Okay, sure. And usually a few hours each session typically.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. And then what do you recommend for aftercare for women? I know for men, typically, you've got some sort of balm or something that, you can
Yeah.
put on. Same thing for women or?
No, not really. So what I really like is I use a membrane tonic spray. And so I just put it in a little hairspray bottle for them that they can use to, wet their hair or the area that they just had tattooed. Then they can pat dry it. And then I just try and have them avoid using any dry shampoo, obviously no washing their hair for a few days, really so that the pigment can soak into the scalp. After we tattoo someone, from 19 to 30 hours after that procedure is really the magic hour for that ink to really settle in. And so you definitely don't want to wash it. You don't want to add any sort of dyes or parabens from dry shampoos, and just really keep it clean. I don't give them balms per se because they usually have hair and so it gets really oily and greasy. But instead, there's this tonic spray that just really helps balance out their pH levels, keep it clean, sanitize, and then it just dries naturally.
Sure. Yeah, that makes